All right, the Band-Aid was ripped off, so to speak. My sister being pregnant, so she told my parents and I when they were 9 weeks pregnant, and it is approximately 16 weeks pregnant. So it's approximately 7 weeks later, and I was like, I'm gonna write about it. And I wrote it down in my journal at the time and that kind of stuff, and I was like, but my journal is for like food and exercise, and then there are like day observations and notes and stuff. So it's not like a journal entry. And I was like, let's do an autobiography exercise on this. So we've got, you know, somewhere, some like a page in the life of trying to document this at the time before it's gone, you know, so to speak. And I'm Tanis Coralee Leonhardi, a she, her, hers of Seattle. And this time I did not put my full name in the exercise, and I only put my sister and my brother and her husband's name in here because I've already introduced them to the channel, and him in her introduction. I threw a page in the life of stuff and notes on autobiography / biography. So here we go, and I wrote this and I'm filming this Saturday, 29 June 2024. Okay, all right, now here we go. Autobiography exercise. On my sister being 16 weeks pregnant, written 29 June 2024 by Tanis Coralee Leonhardi. Writing started 10:39 a.m. On Sunday, 12 May 2024, my sister and her husband came over to celebrate Mother's Day with my mom, my dad, and I, and delivered the news they were pregnant with a Happy Mother's Day card for my mom, on which the card addressed her as Grandma. They told us that they were 9 weeks pregnant, which calculating backwards would put the conception date as Sunday, 10 March 2024. I am writing this on Saturday, 29 June 2024, approximately 16 weeks into the pregnancy. When we saw them at Easter this year, Sunday, 31 March 2024, Lindsay, my sister, and her husband, Jake, had a couple of trips in the works, including a workation to Taiwan and a friend's wedding to attend in Cannes, France. When we asked about the trips the day they told us about the pregnancy, the Taiwan trip had been dropped, but the France trip was tentatively still a go. In the 7 weeks since then, my dad has been helping out with household tasks / projects at their house in Ballard, a neighborhood of Seattle, and my dad and mom have been taking over the occasional dinner homemade. My sister and her husband are thinking of a house different than the Ballard house for raising the kids. They have 2 big dogs, 1 Munsterlander and 1 Leonberger, to think about as well. Lindsay's work / employer is currently based in Utah, and Jake's work / employer is currently based in Seattle. Both work for online retailer companies. Over the years, they have expressed interest in living in a number of places, including the East Coast of the United States of America, Los Angeles, Australia, Utah, and Europe. They moved out east to Boston, Massachusetts on the East Coast of the United States of America for about 1.5 years, last half of 2018 to first half of 2020. So they have demonstrated follow-through in regards to moving outside of Washington state. One difference now versus then is they currently own 3 different homes, whereas back then they owned 1. One thing they have not brought up, at least in my presence, is the possibility of them moving closer to his parents, who live in Bellingham, northern Washington state. I would guess his parents might be interested in that. My sister is very busy with her work and does not speak to me very much, even at in-person family events we both attend. The last time she initiated contact with me via email and or text message was before 2020. That is okay with me. If someday I were to become busy again, I would enjoy reciprocating her behavior. Let her raise her kids in peace, and perhaps she would return the favor for/to me. Writing ended 10:57 a.m. Total time 18 minutes. So I classified this as an autobiography exercise because it's how I heard about the information, when I heard about the information, what information I've heard, like through my interactions, right? And thinking through like the decision, just decision making, right? Okay, what have they done? Like, what might that mean for me and my family and our family and that kind of stuff? And then also just thinking about how is the pregnancy going? Am I going to be called upon as an aunt, right, in a more substantial role than we've been interacting the past few years? So it's really an autobiography exercise of how much is my life going to change, if at all, right? When my sister has not initiated contact since, with me via email and or text message, last time was in 2019, I'm going, anything more, like if she sends a single message, that's an escalation of commitment, right? So thinking about that in terms of my life, just and documenting where it came into my life story, because me hearing about the pregnancy and finding out about when is different than when they heard about it. So that's part of my story, right? The initial hearing, it's different than their story when they initially heard. So, there we go.